whether your child has a delay or whether your child is on track or even advanced, modeling is the way that we learn new information. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tyone Patterson and I am the author of the Tamia T. Scott series. My children's books teach children vocabulary and sentences. Alright, so today I will be sharing with you guys how you guys can increase your students' or your child's receptive language.
What's receptive language?
So basically, to simplify it, it's our ability to understand information, right? So whether it's words such as vocabulary, whether it's sentences, so being able to understand one-step or multi-step directions, and even understanding questions and answering them correctly. Also sign language, right? More, all done. Those are just a few, and those are baby signs, but like, sign language in general. Also visual and written information, so things such as a stop sign, so seeing that stop sign and understanding that that means stop, seeing a green light and understanding that that means go, and even auditory information, right? So when we hear a siren, that may mean that an ambulance is on the way. And also grammar, right? So there is a difference between a cat and cats, right? One is singular and one is plural, so understanding the difference. So receptive language is a very important skill that's needed to develop prior to expressive language or prior to someone being able to speak, basically. So that's basically like the foundation. So you want to have receptive language down packed before you can speak, right? You have to learn the information before you can speak it. And I do want to highlight there is something called pre-linguistic skills, but I'm not going to get into that today. But that's very important as well. That deals with like social skills and play skills. But everything isn't always linear, right? We all learn at different pace and different rates, but that's, the milestones of which language is typically developed. Before I give you strategies, I do want to highlight
some red flags.
So students or kids who struggle with receptive language, they may struggle with following directions. They may struggle with answering questions correctly. And if it's not addressed early, then it can definitely impact their academics. So their reading, their writing, and stuff like that. And in some cases, I've also interviewed teachers and they had like concerns with like behavior and even like the child's attention, right? So they struggle with those things as well. So that's how receptive language can impact kids. So it's definitely something that needs to be addressed, and if you guys need support, I definitely encourage you to don't be ashamed. Please never be ashamed. Just seek help. So you can reach out and maybe even like request for a speech evaluation from a speech language pathologist. So you can either go through your insurance, you can go through the regional center, or you can even go on Google and search speech therapy clinic near me. And there's a whole bunch of people who have private practices, whether it's like a brick and mortar building or like a mobile private practice, and they'll go into your homes and provide speech therapy. But you'll probably have to pay out of pocket, or some accept insurance. So also, you can definitely request a speech screener or a speech evaluation through your school, through your kid's school. So that's another option as well, and it's free. So let's get into it. So how can you guys increase your child's receptive language at home, right? So when it comes to me, I always start off with taking the pressure and the expectations of talking off of the kid, right? And I use a strategy that's called modeling. So basically what modeling is giving them the answer, giving them the blueprint, sharing like an expected answer of what they could say, right? So I want to give them the information first in order for them to give it back to me. So that's what I start off with, modeling. So I'm going to show you with my book, Mima's Garden. So basically the way that I wrote my book is basically modeling, right? So I wrote it as if I am modeling to the students or the kids that I'm reading to. So you can either like read the text because it's modeling. So for example, she says, "Mima, here are 2 crunchy green apples. Biting into them is a hassle." So she's explaining what these are, right? And she's explaining the color and how many there are. So when I read it to my kids and I'm trying to increase receptive vocabulary, I'll say like, "Oh, wow, green apples. These are green apples. 1 apple, 2 apples. They're crunchy apples. I want some apples. I just ate apples. Do you want some apples? So you see how I'm repetitively saying the word apples, apples over and over, because I want it to stick into their, repertoire, and I want to bombard them with the word so they can hear it over and over and over again in different ways, right? So what will also be helpful is maybe if you're at home or if you have toys, if you have apples in your kitchen, maybe go get some apples and, eat the apples and talk about them, right? Apples are crunchy, the apples are juicy, the apples are sweet, things like that. Or you can even, if you have Play-Doh, you can have them, make apples, or you can have them draw apples or paint a picture of apples. So you just definitely want to bombard them with the word over and over again in different ways. So that's great. That's been like super effective that I've noticed. So definitely try that. Let's do another one too. All right, so same thing with the grapes, right? So again, the way that I wrote the story is modeling. So I'm gonna read it. Mima, here are 6 mushy purple grapes. Let's eat them during our break, right? So she's telling her what these are, the color, and how many they are. Okay, so I'll say like, oh, wow, these are grapes. She is eating grapes. Let's count the grapes. 1 grape, 2 grapes, 3 grapes. I'll get to the 6, right? And then I'll do the same thing. Like, just saying the word over and over and over again in different ways. We're gonna eat the grapes. We're gonna talk about the shape of the grapes, the color of the grapes, right? And then again, if you have the toys or if you have the food, definitely go beyond the book and bring the grapes into their real environment. And that makes it even more like memorable, right? So if they can touch the grape, if they can feel the grape, if they can taste the grape, then it'll most likely like stick to their repertoire, their memory. So yeah, that's basically a tool that you can use, modeling, that can increase your child's receptive vocabulary. So again, I'm not like expecting them to say anything back to me, but most definitely I'm interested in them being attentive. So yes, I hope that information is helpful for you guys. Definitely start using it, modeling, whether your child has a delay or whether your child is on track or even advanced. Modeling is the way that we learn new information. Even like when we maybe trying to learn like another language, they always start off with like vocabulary and building up our receptive language. So we have to learn the words first before we can say them. Same concept. So thank you guys for watching. Start modeling with your kids and their vocabulary hopefully will skyrocket. Bye.